With the recent hotfix, Castrum Lacus Litore has become extremely popular again to run, and it is granting exceedingly strong rewards that honestly blow out of the water how long a Castrum Lacus Litore run usually takes, which is about 20-ish minutes. I didn't keep track, so please don't quote me on that number, but like the rewards are super strong. And so just as a recap, the rewards include 5 loathsome memories of the dying. If you have the quest, make sure that you have the quest, otherwise you will not get them. 100 bronze coins, like 81k or somewhere about their medal at rank 15. And then lastly, you're going to either get a metric ton of experience for a character under level 80, or 50 elegant tomestones of revelation if you are level 80, which will easily progress you to your weekly cap of 450 if you're spamming. That is honestly also ignoring that you get a ton of fragments from chests, which are going to be extremely lucrative on the market board because people want them for lost actions, or if you get a direct drop of runner secrets items, that is honestly a very significant portion of guild just there. So work on your guild purse as you work on your relic, yes please. But just a super quick plug here, if you enjoy this video and want to help support me and my content, I'd incredibly appreciate if you dropped a Castrum Lacus Litore direct queue onto that like button and cat daddied that subscribe button. But why am I saying all these rewards in this video? Because if you clicked here from the title, from the thumbnail, you're probably just like, oh, he's gonna say the Castrum's bad. And I want to say that because I don't want to be misleading in this video. These are very strong rewards. They are very strong rewards, especially to me personally working on all of the relic weapons. That's 5 loathsome memories of the dying, which is equivalent to 5 runs of Sick of It Tower. And I need 15 loathsome memories of the dying per weapon, so 17 multiplied by 3, because you get 5 loathsome memories of the dying per Castrum run you do, is going to be 51 runs. And so that's going to be 51 runs of Castrum Lacus Litore. Multiplying 51 by 5, which is significantly more runs of Sick of It Tower, which I did already break down my personal average time on a bunch of runs of Sick of It Tower, which was rated at approximately 14.2 minutes on average to clear, and an average queue time of about 1.5 minutes. So the most trivial approximation, just taking these numbers, would be roughly 78.5 minutes on average to get 5 loathsome memories of the dying through Sick of It Tower. Not to mention that 100 bronze coins per Castrum Lacus Litore clear means that at the current price of a full augmented set of gear, that is going to cost you 3.5 thousand coins for purely the runner's lockbox secrets. That means 35 runs of Castrum Lacus Litore will net you a guaranteed set of full gear, of augmented gear, purely off of bronze coins, ignoring potential random runner secrets drops. So is it rewarding? Yes, undeniably yes at this point in time. No one is trying to deny that, at least especially not myself. But here's where we have the turnaround on this. I'm gonna be honest, I enjoy Castrum. I think it's solid content. Seeing references to FF12 like Adramilch is so cool, who was my favorite summon at the time. It is so good, and the lore of the prisoners being killed and you saving them, it is such an incredibly good piece of content. I like the fights. The first time I was learning them, I was like, oh wow, these are different mechanics, this is so cool. But, and it is an incredibly massive Nicki Minaj-sized butt, it is a massive, incredible pain to actually get into consistently, to the point where I don't know myself if I'm gonna prefer doing this over Sick of It Tower or not. And I'm just being honest. So I'm going to first describe Delubrium Reginae as it's queuable completely outside of Bojin Southern Front content. The Delubrium Reginae allows you to instantly gain access to the Delubrium Reginae content. If I want to spam Delubrium Reginae, I can instantly queue in, get match made with other players, and I have no wait time for Delubrium Reginae. Easily spammable, and I can honestly blow through Delubrium Reginae quite rapidly if I'm quite honest. Now, with the Delubrium Reginae out of the way, I want to talk about Castrum Lacus Litore, which is very, very different than the instantly outside of the Southern Front queuable Delubrium Reginae. So in order to get into Castrum Lacus Litore, you need to actually queue into the Bojan Southern Front and enter the Bojan Southern Front. So that means things like tells and a bunch of other features that you would normally have in the outer world like Limbs Lominza are now cut off, which is something completely different. Like the Bojan Southern Front is completely different set of content than what you actually want to participate in if you are like me and purely wanting to grind Castrum Lacus Litore, which would normally be fine if you could just walk up to Castrum Lacus Litore and say magically queue in and pop in on that map at any time. Just pop into the Southern Front, directly walk to that location on the map, and bam, you're in the instance. It would be an extra step, yeah, but totally doable if that was the case. But the problems purely start from the fact that Castrum Lacus Litore only pops once every hour, and the hour timer will reset once the last person exits Castrum Lacus Litore, which closes off that instance of Castrum Lacus Litore, which is also a very, very long cutscene in and of itself, which, for the record, I have no issues with. I really do love the lore and the story, but the fact is when I want to spam Castrum Lacus Litore, I need to clock for each and every single run like an additional 5 minutes or so for that particular instance for people to filter out. But by this point alone, you can gather it's not spammable. But to the next point, Castrum Lacus Litore has a maximum capacity of 48 players. The Bojan Southern Front has up to 72 players in it at any given time. So in theory, let's say that all 72 players wanted to wait an hour to get into Castrum Lacus Litore, or maybe not wanted, but that they did. So we immediately have an overcapacity problem. 24 players, so 72 minus 48, that many players will not be able to participate in Castrum if they all waited. Which, while this might sound like purely an academic exercise in theory, playing into Castrum Lacus Litore and the fact that the instance is so insanely rewarding, I really don't think it's a stretch of an imagination to speculate there being an intense demand at the doors. But the next problem is, what do you do when you're just waiting for Castrum to pop? Let's say that you're 100% finished with doing more critical engagements and skirmishes, and that you will barf if you try and do more, kind of like where I'm at right now. I mean, if you pop into nearly any instance of the Southern Front, the past day, in my experience, like the past 24 hours, at least in my experience, I've seen like 15 or 20 people just standing AFK waiting for Castrum to pop, and really a lot of these people are just hoping that the kick timer doesn't get to them, so you like randomly see them like nudge over here, jump, or like some little action. But there is another problem. So what if the Castrum is already going on in that instance? I mean, then you are either forced to wait the hour, plus a few minutes default change for the respawn timer for the people to filter out, plus the additional time for that group to finish clearing. That is a lot of dead time for someone just wanting to farm Castrum Lacus Litore. Time that, when you are looking to farm 17 relic weapons, adds up super fast. 17 relic weapons by default is going to be 51 runs of Castrum Lacus Litore, as I said before, meaning that you are going to have to re-instance, and re-instance, and re-instance until you finally are put into a brand new instance, or an instance that ideally won't take a full hour until it respawns. But remember that a brand new instance also means that it will be 60 minutes until the next one spawns too. So is even that ideal? No. Meaning that you can get caught up, like I really was in the footage that I tried to show, of desperately trying to re-instance over and over again until your will is finally broken, and then you just decide that it is easier to sit in Utah Exus and then place just to stand around for an hour bored silly until the next Castrum pops. But wait, there is unfortunately more. Many times in the past I have actually tried this exact same be patient and wait thing, and unfortunately sometimes, which I will say certainly not all the time, and it hasn't happened to me lately, but it did happen to me in the past where the instance would be locked to new players entering. This is a so-called dead instance. This means that slowly as people's 180-minute timers run out, that the instance goes from 72 players, which is the max capacity, to 50, 40, 30, 20, until it eventually completely dies out. very easily in a locked instance. You can wait that hour and see that 72 number plummet to below 40. And 48 people Castrum goes dramatically easier and faster than a 30-person Castrum. Doable, but significantly more difficult and significantly more time consuming. And honestly, if it is below 30 people, I have honestly found that it is sometimes just better to not even try Castrum in the past, because the first boss wipes and then the length of the fights is just incredibly longer. It is a lot more risky than 48 people. So where does this leave us? Well, with the fact that every single one of my criticisms I've levied against Castrum 4 months ago is still more applicable to the current form of Castrum, unfortunately, not at a great place. And I do want to say again, Castrum is not bad content. In fact, when I was first learning the fights, I cannot be more honest. I found it really cool. Nice mechanics, beautiful aesthetically. Like, the fight, the bosses were beautiful, the areas were beautiful, the architecture was unique to 14. Like, aesthetically, story-wise, battle-wise, it's great. I love Adramel. She was my favorite summon from, like, 12. The prisoner's involvement and how you, like, save them for more rewards is extremely cool. And I find it a very lucrative piece of content with the hotfix. But holy flaming fudge buckets of death. It is a monotonous, dreadful chore, in my opinion, to try and get into it and to progress your relic weapons quickly. 51 runs? I am not looking forward to this. Honestly, that's all I have to say on this, but it's like, I am genuinely dreading the next many runs of Castrum. I'm not even sure at this point if I'm going to go Castrum or Sick of It Tower. I don't even know. But anyhow, I just wanted to, like, get this out there, and I don't know, like, if you guys agree with me, if you disagree, like, totally let me know if you disagree with me. I am totally open to, like, have my eyes open to, like, oh, this is really good for this, or that's really good for that. So totally leave a comment, agree or disagree. What are your thoughts on the Castrum? But anyhow, as always, if you enjoyed this video and want to help support me and my content, I would incredibly super appreciate if you dropped a Castrum Lacus Litore direct queue onto that like button and cat daddy that subscribe button. Take care and be safe.